Hey everybody, I want to give you a heads up on next week's homework assignment since I don't know when I'm going to see you next. It's based off this idea of 5 Rhythms, which is a dance exercise I learned about over the summer. No, we are not dancing, but the idea of this exercise is it helps people find their states of being, and they break them down into 5, and a lot of artists use this. It's almost like a form of yoga, but they use it to help them think creatively, and when they're following this process of going through these 5 stages, it kind of clears their minds and gets them to think creatively, and ideas start kind of coming to them. And as much as I don't want to do the dance, I thought the 5 states of being were somewhat interesting, and I thought that maybe we could do that as our project. So the 5 states of being are called flowing, staccato, chaos, lyrical, and stillness. With this file, you'll find you have a Word document. And as I was going through doing research about these 5 rhythms, the definitions and the explanations are so broad that I tried to collect a grouping that kind of made sense. And so underneath flow, you'll see it says fluid, continuous glide of your own movements, and staccato is percussive and pulsing. And if you're a music guy, you know what staccato means, or music girl. Chaos is kind of random, letting go, cathartic, breakthrough, inhale and exhale colliding together, spastic, opposites coming together. So it's really kind of out of control. Then lyrical, the one that stuck with me was the rhythm of trance. So like if there's ever a time in your life when time kind of disappears, like whether you're playing a video game or you're playing a musical instrument, or for me, it's when I draw, I look up and 5 hours have gone away. So I'm kind of in this trance. And so for me, that would be the lyrical movement. And then stillness is the quiet and the emptiness. And kind of coming back down to earth after everything else. And so what you are going to do is you're going to create a composition that illustrates the 5 rhythms. The first thing you have to decide is what kind of paper you want to use, but obviously since we're not going to be around, that's not really going to be an option. But you're going to be doing either charcoal or pencil. We're not going to be mixing the two. Charcoal is going to be a little bit bigger because of course it works a little bit faster, but pencil you can get tighter ideas, but it'll be a smaller piece of paper. And you're going to divide your page into 5 designated areas, one area for each of the 5 rhythms. But how you divide your page is really what's going to make this project interesting. So, I mean, you could put lines and just divide them up into 5 even spaces, or you can come up with a much better idea, which we'll talk about in a second. Then you're going to decide if you're going to draw the rhythms in order, because the way that this dance works is they are in order. Oh, there's the mail. My dog's barking at the mailman. Yeah, see, I get distracted at home too. Anyway, you can decide if you're going to draw them in order or are you going to do them randomly. The dance does proceed in a very specific order, so that may be something you want to think about. And also that you don't just stop and start. They all kind of work together. So when you divide your page, think about how do you want it to flow from one section to the next. Then you have to decide how you're going to illustrate the rhythm. So you can do it conceptually, you can do it aesthetically, you can do it abstractly, through representation, compositionally, autobiographically. There's no rules to this except for no text. I want you to actually use visual images to kind of get your point across. And I'll show you some examples of that in a little bit. And I am going to set up a Padlet for an idea exchange because I think you guys really need to kind of bounce ideas off one another. And for those who used Padlet last time and really used it well, I think some ideas came up that maybe you hadn't thought of. So I have a link set up for you, and I'm going to go to it in a couple of seconds and show you how it works. You're going to have 2 weeks to do this whole thing. So week 1 is going to be your contours and your concepts. So come up with your ideas, start rough drafting, rough sketching. You know, the more you get done the first week, the less you have to do the second week. And then the second week is going to be completion. This is a very kind of deep, complex project. I've been, just to give you a heads up, it took me about an hour and a half just to even come up with how I was going to divide my page, and then probably took another hour of just straight thinking and pouring through the internet and going through sketchbooks to come up with how I'm going to divide them up and then how I'm going to demonstrate what I'm going for. So let me show you the Padlet real quick, and I'll kind of run you through some ideas that I had, and then of course you're more than welcome to add to them. So Up at the top, if you open up the Padlet, you'll see there's a website that all this is based off of. So that first website I showed you in the beginning, that's this first link. And then the second link and the third link are the actual dances. So if you're actually interested in seeing the dance, it's really kind of weird. I'll just put it out there. There's no rules. There's no steps. It's just kind of these motions you do with your body. It's a way you breathe. It's different for everyone, but there's even like music that goes with it. So on some of the pages, they'll show examples of music that was written to go with the 5 rhythms. So I started setting it up, and you'll see here where it says division of page. You have to figure out how you're going to divide your page. So I was thinking of all different ways of doing it. And one way, there's an artist named Pierre Mondrian, and he kind of does these blocks of color. So I was thinking yours is obviously going to be black and white, but the way he divided up the page I thought was kind of interesting. But then I also thought about how this dance all works together. And then I got the idea of gears, how, they're all separate pieces, but they all turn. And if you take one out, it all falls apart. So I started thinking along those lines. I'm not doing either one of those, but I just wanted to kind of show you what I was thinking about. And then you'll see I started listing the rhythms here with flow and staccato and chaos, and the rest are over to the right, which you can definitely see. But when I think of staccato, I think of real short, like I think about music, real short bursts, real short turns. If you're into like hip hop dance, think pop and lock, where it's real short but real concise movements, well divided. And so I found 3 images of something I think kind of stood for that. And then I thought about chaos, which was very random. And I started thinking about an artist that I really hate named Robert Motherwell, because his stuff just seems extremely random to me. So I started, these are all kind of visual representations. And then under lyrical, the trance, there's an artist named Joshua Davis who will do a drawing, and then he'll repeat it over and over and over and over and over again, and overlays. And so these are all kind of images based off of those. But you can also think autobiographically. So for example, we all have stages in our life that are chaotic. And so if you wanted to take that section and draw a section or a part of your life that's chaotic, you can certainly do that. Or in staccato, in the evening between 7 and 8 o'clock, I have to bathe my son, bathe my daughter, get homework done, get dinner on the table, feed the dogs, take the dogs out, recycle. So my life is, it's very short. I don't have any time to do anything. I just have pieces going on and on and on. So that could be under chaos, but I think it's more under staccato, because we have a very set schedule, and we have like 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there and 5 minutes here. And so for me, maybe staccato would be my kitchen table, or maybe it would be the dishwasher, or who knows. So as you're coming up with your concepts, you can think abstractly and think about the elements of design and how they play into this, or you can think autobiographically. When in your life does it seem lyrical? Is there something that you do where you lose track of time, and that would be part of the lyrical? Or a mix of both. It's really up to you. Again, there's really no rules, except you have to have a good composition. And of course, you have to have a great drawing, which means you need to have high contrast. You need to have a representation of values, and really, I really want this not to be text heavy. That doesn't mean you can't include some text, but you cannot label things. So part of what we're going to be looking at as a class is that you are going to be looking at each other's and trying to define which section stands for which rhythm. So there you go. There's an entire lesson thrown at you through YouTube, and I apologize that it's going to be about 10 minutes, but hopefully that'll at least get you started. So good luck. If you need anything, let me know. Work on your popcorn, and I'll see you soon, hopefully. All right, bye.